I'm Diane Wood. I live here right across the street. I'm on the United States Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit, and it is my very great pleasure this afternoon to introduce our keynote speaker to you. I believe that she is someone who needs no introduction to this group because her sterling reputation has preceded her, both as a distinguished judge on the United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit and also as the First Lady of Pennsylvania. She was appointed to the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania in 1994 by President Bill Clinton, and he obviously knew he had a good thing. In 1997, he tapped her for a position on the Third Circuit. In 2003, Judge Rendell's husband of more than 30 years, Ed Rendell, was sworn in as governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and that made Judge Rendell the First Lady of the Commonwealth, in addition to her many other titles. So it's been wearing that hat that she's had a wonderful platform to provide the strong support that she has for the project of improving civic learning for young people, especially students in Pennsylvania, very much like our Constitutional Rights Foundation Chicago, focusing on grades K through 12. I know we're very much looking forward to hearing from Midge right now, so it's my pleasure to give you Judge Rendell.
Thank you, Diane. I really am delighted to be here. And I thought I'd give you a little bit of what I've been doing and what my thinking has been. When Ed became governor and I became First Lady, I thought about what I might do as an initiative. I knew I couldn't do anything that involved fundraising or that was, politically charged or was too much in the policy realm. But I soon realized I wanted to focus my efforts on civics education. The thought really came to me and crystallized when I oversaw a naturalization ceremony. And looking out on the joyful citizens, I realized that they know how special our citizenship is. 70 new citizens from 44 countries. I realized that they knew that our democratic way of life, our respect for the rule of law, fundamental belief in equal opportunity, mutual respect, individual liberty, and freedom for all, they realized that these things make us different. These things cause people to come from other countries and leave their homelands to come to America. This doesn't happen anywhere else. We are indeed blessed. Perhaps the only thing our natural-born citizens lack is an appreciation of how very special our country is and an understanding of the responsibility that we have to ensure its continued vitality by being knowledgeable about our democracy, our founding principles, and participating in it to the fullest. So it occurred to me during this naturalization ceremony that we've lost the focus on the importance of educating our children about our Constitution and our democracy. And we've lost the opportunity to give them the skills and the knowledge they need to be active citizens. And I probably don't need to give you statistics, but some of the ones which some people find humorous, but most of us find very sad. 2/3 of students scored below proficient on the last National Assessment of Education Progress in Civics, administered in 2006. More Americans remember that Michael Jackson sang "Beat It" than know that the Bill of Rights is part of the Constitution. Too many young people do not understand how our political system works and therefore lack the tools to improve our communities and the nation through political engagement. With these results, I knew it was essential to have the support of the Pennsylvania Department of Education if we were going to make a difference. And it wasn't just these leaders that I needed. I also needed to involve teachers, administrators, students, and nonprofits in this agenda. So I joined with the Pennsylvania Bar Association, the National Constitution Center, and more than 60 partners across the state, each of them committed to improving civic learning in Pennsylvania schools. So we formed a coalition, the Pennsylvania Coalition for Representative Democracy, which we call PennCORD, and set out to try to ensure that Pennsylvania schools had the resources, every schools, the resources, supports that they needed to help students understand and participate in their communities, society, and government. So we're spreading knowledge about available curriculum and showcasing several curriculum programs on which we call Keystone programs, and we have them on our website, penncord.org. These have been tested and proven successful, designed to be adopted and replicated by schools and school districts, offering support such as teacher training that's available at little or no cost to the schools, which we think is important. Much has happened since we embarked on this journey, and many of my colleagues in the legal community have joined the fight to restore the civic mission of schools, including, most recently, Justice Souter, who last August, in remarks to the American Bar Association, challenged the legal profession to make civics real again. So it's essential that we give our children the knowledge, skills, and dispositions of effective citizens. And I applaud the Jack Miller Center and many of the organizations here today for helping to do this, helping to toil in this field where it is so important. It's important at every level, I believe, from kindergarten through college, that we explore civic rights and responsibilities and what is the role of an active citizen. Education about the rights and responsibilities of citizens is essential to the preservation of democracy. Our founding fathers understood the crucial role of education. Thomas Jefferson talked about the role of education and the fact that ignorance could not be the hallmark of a truly democratic institution. Jefferson said this again in his notes on the state of Virginia when he said that every government degenerates when trusted to the rulers. The people themselves, therefore, are its only safe depositories, and to render even them safe, their minds must be improved. So it's amazing that almost 200 years later, we must reassert and demonstrate anew the interconnection between education and democracy. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here about the need for civics education, but we really do need to spread the word. Every generation has wrestled with the challenge of establishing and maintaining a system of public education that will provide for individual advancement at the same time as it nurtures citizenry that is informed and engaged. And our generation must take up that challenge anew before it's too late. It is said that democracy is threatened more by ignorance and apathy than by any outside force. And I believe that to be true. And that really should be a rallying cry in today's world. Students are looking for ways they can actively engage their voice. We had 3 town meetings with up to 1,000 students, and it became apparent they wanted to exercise their voice, but they needed to learn how to use their voice constructively. We need to create opportunities that will provide children with the skills needed for the life of citizenship, critical thinking and communication skills. And I think the college level is a perfect opportunity to fine-tune these skills. And again, college students could convene high school town meetings or even middle school town meetings and help students hear their voice and take positions on issues of importance. So we need to strengthen civic and law education partnerships within our communities. At Pencord, we're looking to expand our partnerships and our work with the schools. With 501 school districts in Pennsylvania, the task is daunting. Yet we think progress is being made through our efforts, including the Pennsylvania Bar Association. And we need to hold conferences such as these with nonprofits and educators in the field so as to share ideas and share resources. Now is the time to act upon the challenge of Justice Souter. We have 2 wonderful champions in Justice O'Connor and Justice Souter. The power of youth that is not expedient or timid and that does not believe in futility or comfort. That is the power we must energize. And that is the power that you today around this room, and including the Jack Miller Center, do. And for that, I thank you.
This has been a Jack Miller Center digital media presentation. For more information, visit thejackmillercenter.org.